Alright everybody, welcome back to Culz Book Reviews. Today, in the spirit of Halloween, we're checking out a spooky book. In this case, it's a kind of Halloween classic, or at least it's in the spirit of the Halloween season. As well as it does tie in to a Culz Reviews deep dive that we did earlier. So make sure, if you haven't checked out our review of Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow, click that link above. But yes, today we are checking out The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, the 1820 poem by Washington Irving. Alright, so up top we got the title of the book or poem itself, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Right below we got a picture depicting the Headless Horseman himself, as well as he is carrying that jack-o'-lantern with the full moon behind him. You kind of got this spooky tree on the right corner there. Right there you got the name of the author, Washington Irving, and then it does say a classic. Nothing along the spine of the book itself. And on the back, it is just black with some writing that describes the importance of Washington Irving's Sleepy Hollow. Right there, you got the ISBN. Now, I did get this one off Amazon, so you can find it's not super expensive. So, is it spooky enough for a spooky season? I don't know. This is something I guess we can get into now. But obviously, it's a short poem story, only lasting about 50 pages, and anything haunting as far as the actual Headless Horseman is probably about 2 to 3 pages total. There is a story early at a party, but it kind of goes into my theory that there is no Headless Horseman in this story. It's all just kind of a tall tale, and Brom actually uses it to kill Ichabod Crane. But yeah, I mean, the most part, it's more of a love story of sorts. Ichabod obviously falls in love with Kate, who rejects him, and this is after he goes to the party, her family party, and Brom's there, and he tells the story of how he raced the Headless Horseman. Some other people kind of talk about that, or some other kind of like urban legends, kind of just spooky lore, Halloween-esque lore. But yeah, you know, he goes, he sees the horseman. It's kind of the, could almost be like a trick of the mind, you would think, because he did get rejected, and then he's gone through this dark forest, and that's when he starts thinking back to the stories. The horseman shows up, chases him, and then he disappears. He's never found again in the poem. They just find his hat. But at the end, people say if you ever ask Brom, it's almost like he knows more than he lets on to, and I think either that means he scared him or he killed him and threw him in the river. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's also kind of interesting, and I know we talked about it in our deep dive, that such a short poem spawns so much lore and talking points and just media, because it really doesn't have that much to base upon. Very, very sparse actual horseman stuff in here that's become its own kind of legend. The whole city where Washington Irving was from was renamed Sleepy Hollow. They do kind of have a Headless Horseman statue, it looks like, and you can visit some of the locations that were mentioned in the book, which is interesting, something that we definitely want to do in the future. But yeah, overall, is it something that was really fun? I don't know. It's definitely of the time. If you've ever read any books of a certain era, they have a certain way that's written. Even if it's by different authors, there's just a style of the times. This one falls into that, but at the same time, it's almost like it doesn't know if it wants to be a story or a poem. Like, it has some beats where you're like, okay, it's going to be more of a poem. Other times it's more of a story. So yeah, it was okay. Definitely not something I would come back to be completely honest. I'll give this one like a 5 out of 10. And mainly because it spawns so much. It's really important, but it's not something I really enjoyed first read. Now, maybe I'll do a second read at some point and come back and tell you guys I was wrong. Because it's not very long, it's an easy one to get back to, but no, here, we'll bump it up just because it has spawned so much, and it did leave me thinking, so I'll give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay. Like I said, it kind of leaves it up to the audience. Was the horseman real? What actually happened to Crane? It gives you some different theories of what happened to him. And like I said, maybe it was just Brom getting rid of him. Didn't want him falling in love with Kate. And yeah, so that's kind of my review of Sleepy Hollow. We'll be doing one more spooky season book review this month, so stay tuned next week for that. But yeah, if you guys have more little poems or historical books you want us to read, please let us know in the comments below. But until next time, guys, for more Culz book reviews, click that link to your left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, do you have a favorite Halloween season book? Tell us in the comments below.